now, streaming on CBS News Boston. This is WBZ News Mornings.
We begin with breaking news overnight. A car crashes into this home in Abington. You can see the entire car ended up inside the house, the first floor here on Ashland Street. Officers responded just before midnight, and the fire chief tells us 4 people were in that car. 3 of them were taken to the hospital with minor injuries, but luckily the homeowners were upstairs at the time, so they were not hurt. Developing right now, a death investigation's underway at a luxury apartment building in Boston's South End. Police responded to the Harrison Avenue residence last night for a well-being check and say they found a woman's body inside. Right now, it's not clear how she died, but we do know homicide detectives also responded to the building. Also developing, a 2-year-old girl rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries after she was hit by a truck outside her daycare in Lowell. Police say it all happened last night on Coburn Street. WBZ spoke with a witness who says it happened when the toddler ran away from her mother just as she was trying to get the child into their car to go home.
Much blood. It was a lot of blood. It was hard. It was really, really hard. May God help that little child, innocent baby. They don't know. They don't know better. She ran. She thought she was playing.
That witness says her husband chased down the truck whose driver didn't even realize what had happened. Police say the driver did stay on the scene and is cooperating with the investigation. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Paula Ebbett. It's Friday, December 13th, and this morning, Boston's taking new steps to try to deal with the city's rat problem. They're going to be out replacing trash cans following growing complaints from residents, especially in the North End. WBZ's Laura Hafley is live there with details on this pilot program. Let's hope it works, Laura.
Neighbors in the North End have been asking for all kinds of solutions to this growing rat problem, including exterminators or bait boxes. Well, today there may actually be a solution implemented to make a real difference here. Starting in just a little bit, enclosed trash cans will be replacing open trash cans. The Public Works Department will be making this switch in the hopes that it deters rats from those areas that do have trash. Now, this is a part of a pilot program that also includes the Boston Common, Boston Housing Authority, and neighborhoods that struggle with rodent issues. Here in the North End, this is a welcomed step for neighbors and businesses. Now, the city has been trying to fill the position of rat czar. That person would be in charge of things like this and doing what they can to mitigate the rat problem across the city of Boston. That position has not been filled yet. In the North End, Laura Hafley, WBZ News.
All right, well, let's get a check of the next weather forecast as we look at this pretty sunrise on a Friday morning. Let's go to Jason Michael. And good morning, Jason. What that picture doesn't say is how cold it is outside.
Oh, she does not speak in terms of temperatures this morning. It's an illusion, folks. We have a beautiful cotton candy sky on this Friday the 13th. Nothing is spooky in terms of sky conditions today. The only spookiness that we have to worry about is the cold factor outside. Wind chills are struggling this morning. We have some teens outside as well, and that is at the top of our weather headlines here on our Friday. The weekend is actually not going to be that bad. We're actually going to have temperatures right around the freezing mark both Saturday and a little bit warmer once we get to Sunday. That is at the tip top of our weather headlines. As I said before, sunny, also with a few clouds developing today. Seasonable for this upcoming weekend, but also eyeing what could likely be another storm system moving in by the end of next week. Beautiful sunshine tomorrow, albeit though on the chilly side of things. A few clouds will develop for us on Sunday. We'll be around the freezing mark today. Breezy winds gusting anywhere between 15 and 25 miles per hour. Lighter overnight tonight with crystal clear skies. So the crystal clear skies in the month of December equates to very cold temperatures in the overnight, around 32 to 33 degrees at least for tomorrow. I'm going to give it a grade of a B today as well as later on this afternoon. But again, speaking mainly in terms of sky conditions, it's going to be a good old fat A. 28 degrees outside right now. Dew point temperatures dry as the bone. Feels like temperatures around 17 degrees. But also look at this as we roll the clock forward, just specifically targeting our feels like temperatures. Let's stop the clock here roughly around 6:30 this evening. 20 degrees it feels like. Let's go a little bit further out. You can see it feels like 17 degrees in the city of Boston around 10 p.m. So if you have a late date night this evening, perhaps even going to the seaport, it's definitely going to be a cold evening. So bundle up. We have to emphasize that. You can thank me later. We'll talk about the weekend forecast and also go beyond in the full forecast coming up in a few.
All right, Jason, thanks. A controversial witness in the Karen Read trial took the stand as the court decides whether she'll be allowed to testify in Read's upcoming retrial. Dr. Marie Russell believes that John O'Keefe died after being attacked by a dog. She was not involved in the initial investigation into his death, but analyzed autopsy photos after the fact. Well, she testified briefly during the first trial and was grilled for more than 6 hours yesterday.
Right thing to do. Why is that? Because there's very few experts in this area in the country. And so someone needs to be available.
No word yet on whether or not Russell will be allowed to testify. The retrial has been pushed back to April. New details this morning, excuse me, in the case against the suspect accused of killing Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. Investigators have started piecing together his movements after the crime. Jared Hill is in New York with the latest updates.
This morning, police say they have new information on how the man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO got out of New York. Investigators believe Luigi Mangione rode a bike through Central Park after allegedly killing Brian Thompson, then took a cab to a major bus terminal in Upper Manhattan just to go back downtown, possibly taking the subway to New York's Penn Station. From there, investigators question whether Mangione fled to Pennsylvania by train. Authorities also say they found evidence that Mangione knew United Healthcare was hosting its investor conference in New York before the shooting, and that while there's no indication Mangione was ever insured by the company, United Healthcare and its CEO may have been targeted because of its status as the nation's biggest health insurer. It all comes as CBS News has learned the Manhattan DA's office has begun presenting evidence to a grand jury in order to get him back to New York.
I trust the DA here in Manhattan to make sure that he puts forth an indictment that is going to be ironclad.
Mangione is currently being held in a maximum security prison in Pennsylvania, fighting extradition. A hearing has been set for December 30th. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
A convenience store in Alston suspended from selling alcohol for allegedly running an illegal casino. Police say they discovered slot machines and gamblers inside this Harvard Avenue store, drinking beer from the business's own supply during a raid that happened back in May. The city's licensing board says for now that store cannot sell alcohol for 10 days, and it will review whether it will ultimately be allowed to keep its beer and wine license. Cambridge police are out with a new warning about a recent spike in scam phone calls. Listen to this. They say someone's calling residents of Cambridge claiming to be a police captain, telling them they missed jury duty and owe a large amount of money or they could go to jail. Investigators say, well, of course, there is no police captain in Cambridge calling. So if you get this or any other suspicious calls asking for personal information and money, you should ignore it. Bill Belichick has officially been introduced as the new head coach at the University of North Carolina. Of course, the Tar Heels had a Carolina hoodie waiting for him with the sleeves already cut off. Belichick's 5-year deal will earn him $10 million a year with the potential for annual bonuses. The former Patriots head coach said he always wanted to coach at the college level, and now at age 72, he's finally getting his chance.
You know, when you love what you do, and my dad told me this, when you love what you do, it's not work. I love what I do. I love coaching. I love the interaction with the players. I love building a team, working with the assistants, game planning, the game itself.
And check out this picture of a toddler Bill Belichick that UNC football posted with the caption, "Welcome home, coach." His dad, Steve, was an assistant coach for the Tar Heels in the 60s.